The creator and former CEO of Frank, a business that helps students fill out financial aid applications, is Charlie Javice. 2023 January. At the age of 24 and fresh out of the Ivy League, Charlie Javice founded Frank in 2017 with the intention of assisting students in their pursuit of financial aid for college. According to a lawsuit the bank filed last month, JPMorgan now contends that Frank's inspirational account of assisting more than 5 million students in attending college was mostly made up. According to the lawsuit, Javice reportedly paid a data science professor $18,000 to create a list of more than 4 million fictitious student identities in order to persuade the financial titan to pay the acquisition price. By 2021, she had been charged with fraud in connection with the $175 million sale of her business to JPMorgan Chase. How Charlie Javice persuaded JPMorgan to make a $175 million purchase? What exactly is the matter? So let's take a detailed look into the matter in this video. Stay with us and watch until the end of the video. Javice is accused of boosting Frank's actual client base falsely and dramatically as part of a strategy to fraudulently induce the bank to buy the business in 2021. The alleged fraud gave her a chance to make more than $45 million. The once rising tech star, who was previously included among Forbes 30 Under 30, was detained in New Jersey and will soon appear in federal court in Manhattan. 4 charges are being brought against her. They consist of 1 count each of conspiracy to conduct securities fraud, bank fraud, and wire fraud affecting a financial institution. The maximum term for each of the 3 offenses is 30 years in jail. In September 2021, JPMorgan Chase announced the unique opportunity for deeper engagement with the 5 million students Frank works with at more than 6,000 American institutions of higher learning when it paid $175 million to purchase the firm. The nation's largest bank then took an uncommon step by admitting that it had been duped. In a complaint, JPMorgan said that Charlie Javice, the youthful creator of Frank, had engaged in a complex strategy to saturate that list of 5 million clients with false information. The lawsuit stated that Javice chose to deceive in order to profit, including lying about the size, success, and depth of Frank's market penetration. The bank's assertions, according to Ms. Javice via her attorney, are false. The legal document from JPMorgan contains stunning charges that read like pulp non-fiction. A few of these include the claim that Ms. Javice and Olivier Amar, Frank's chief growth and acquisition officer, falsified their client list and recruited a data science professor to help mislead the bank's due diligence team. The background of how Ms. Javice ended up in a 9-figure negotiation with the bank is mostly what JPMorgan omitted. Ms. Javice, who was 24 at the time, showed excellent media savvy and asserted to have first-hand knowledge of financial aid and the difficulty of paying for college. She explained to a student publication at the University of Pennsylvania that the process is difficult and stressful, adding that her mother cries while speaking with financial aid employees. According to a lawsuit the bank filed recently, JPMorgan now contends that Frank's inspirational account of assisting more than 5 million students in attending college was mostly made up. According to the lawsuit, Javice reportedly paid a data science professor $18,000 to create a list of more than 4 million fictitious student identities in order to persuade the financial titan to pay the acquisition price. The charges, which range from Sam Bankman-Fried of FTX to disgraced Theranos founder Elizabeth Holmes, are the most recent instance of a highly praised young startup founder being accused of lying in order to benefit financially. Frank, which was formerly anticipated to aid JPMorgan in extending its reach among college students, has now been shut down. In order to persuade JPMorgan to buy Frank for $175 million, Javice decided to lie, including lying about Frank's success, Frank's size, and the depth of Frank's market penetration, the bank claims in the complaint. An attorney representing Javice, Alex Spiro, refuted the accusations in a letter sent to CBS Money Watch via email. JPMorgan knows what they filed is retaliatory and misleading, he claimed. The limitations imposed by student privacy rules during due diligence were underscored by the fact that they were given all the data up front for the acquisition of Frank and Charlie Javice. After buying Frank, JPMorgan tried to get around the privacy regulations but was unsuccessful. To cover their tracks, JPMorgan started distorting the truth, and now they're blaming Charlie Javice for trying to retrade the deal. The former CEO and creator of Frank, Charlie Javice, was charged with criminal fraud by the Department of Justice, which said she engaged in a brazen scheme when she told her business to JPMorgan Chase in 2021. The accusations were unsealed. Separately, the Securities and Exchange Commission filed a fraud lawsuit against Javice seeking a range of sanctions, including civil fines and a prohibition on her serving as an officer of a corporation. Javice was charged with deceiving JPMorgan into thinking Frank had 4.25 million users when in fact there were only less than 300,000 of them, according to both federal prosecutors and the SEC. Federal officials claimed that the 31-year-old Javice falsified and altered Frank's data to make her business seem to handle many more clients than it did. Javice is accused of conspiring to conduct securities fraud, bank fraud, and wire fraud affecting a financial institution, and bank and wire fraud. After being detained, she was brought before the court, freed on a $2 million bail, and given travel limitations. This arrest should serve as a warning to company owners who fabricate information to grow their enterprises, according to U.S. Attorney Damian Williams. The claims have been refuted by Javice via a representative. Prior to Javice's arrest, her attorney, Alex Spiro, insisted that she was being targeted by JPMorgan and had internally raised concerns about student privacy regulations. However, he declined to speak to ABC News for this report. JPMorgan and Javice both filed lawsuits before her arrest, with the bank alleging fraud and Javice alleging unfair termination and being owed attorney's fees after being singled out by the bank. In court documents, she refuted claims that she ever made up or distorted user statistics. Instead, she only said that her platform had engaged with at least 4.25 million students. The knowledge and resources that students would access at Frank would empower them for decades as they obtained financial aid packages, built personal wealth, and managed debt, according to a court filing by Javice's attorneys. Ms. Javice's vision was that Frank would be the place for college-bound students and their families to turn to for all their financial needs, the filing reads. Angel investors and venture capitalists must have found Ms. Javice's personal account and commitment to slash through the confusing maze of government paperwork, language, and rules surrounding the aid process captivating reading, particularly those who lack direct experience with how financial help truly functions. Her company concept had the aura of making money while doing good by promising to make it easier and faster for customers to fill out financial aid paperwork and give billions in savings to youngsters who needed assistance. Later, just for good measure, it added a .org web address. Carly Gillis, who served as Frank's director of content and community for some months in 2018, stated, "I thought it would be an advocacy organization. A genuine David and Goliath tale. However, at least some of its good actions may not have occurred or may have been greatly inflated. During the epidemic, when many people were stuck at home, Frank started advertising amazing prices for online courses that resulted in real college credits. However, colleges that showed up on Frank's website this past week with hundreds of perpetually open courses voiced confusion in interviews about their appearance on the site at the time. Nobody had ever even heard of the firm at one school. The narrative of Ms. Javice, a juvenile genius who became an Ivy League social enterprise maven and a shape-shifting savior of higher education, is a classic example of late-stage startup hustling culture. According to Ms. Javice, her work as a humanitarian began at the border between Thailand and Myanmar. In between semesters at her private high school in Westchester County, New York, she volunteered there one summer. Her work served as motivation for her to start Power Up, a nonprofit that supported microfinance and educated other students about how to combat poverty via entrepreneurship. She said in a podcast in 2011 that every month or every month and a half, 50 new schools were joining her network. While a student at the Wharton School at the University of Pennsylvania, Ms. Javice admitted that she required assistance herself. She gained attention after making Fast Company's 2011 list of the 100 most innovative business people. She was receiving financial help at the time, and she struggled with the forms. In an interview, her parents also said that. According to his LinkedIn page, Didier has more than 35 years of experience working on Wall Street, including 11 years at Goldman Sachs and 3 years at Merrill Lynch. When questioned about how Ms. Javice had qualified for financial help and the difficulties in getting it, she did not react, nor did her father or mother, Natalie Rosen. "The whole thing never made sense to me or my parents, who both have master's degrees," Ms. Javice said to the newspaper. Additionally, it would reportedly take the whole semester to resolve the family's frequent requests for additional assistance. According to Ms. Javice, she graduated from Wharton in 3 years despite sometimes taking 5 subjects concurrently. She only possessed a Bachelor of Science in Economics with a major in Finance and a second major in Operations and Information Management, which this institution would only affirm. It makes no mention of the pupils' financial aid situation, if any. State legal documents show that Ms. Javice formed TAPD, her first business, in 2013. Although she doesn't mention it on her LinkedIn page, she has previously talked about this pre-Frank startup. She discussed the effort at TAPD to find a better approach to assessing the creditworthiness of people, just starting in a now-deleted interview on Medium from 2020. Another startup emerged from all of this conflict. 2016 saw the appearance of a message that promised maximum financial help guaranteed, and added, "If we don't save you at least $1,000 in tuition, we'll reimburse you." An offer to sign up for a waitlist was at the bottom. The US Department of Education swiftly saw this going on behind the scenes. It did not feel happy. The free application for Federal Student Aid, or FAFSA, is a registered brand. Therefore, the department wasn't happy with Frank for using it. In a 2018 settlement agreement, Frank agreed to provide the department access to its frankfafsa.com website, according to information obtained by financial aid expert Mark Kantrowitz through a Freedom of Information Act request. The contract required Frank to take the trademarked word out of the titles, handles, and usernames of every one of its social media accounts. Additionally, as FAFSA did not and never belonged to Frank, it was no longer permitted to refer to it as Frank's FAFSA. The co-founder of Frank wasn't pleased either. Chief Technical Officer Odi Amazi sued Ms. Javice in Israel for unpaid wages. The Israeli publication The Marker claims that he ultimately got a settlement. Ms. Javice was consistently appearing in the media. The New York Times published an editorial post she authored in December 2017 titled "The 8 Most Confusing Things About FAFSA." The article needed an 8-sentence revision because it included so many inaccuracies. However, throughout the following 2 years, she received more accolades from magazines. According to the title of a Business Insider article from October 2018, a 26-year-old founder has a solution to what Bill Gates calls an unnecessary roadblock to college, and her startup is helping students get thousands off their tuition. Frank's trademark product, Easy FAFSA, which Frank said was made to speed and simplify the Department of Education's free application for federal student aid, is at the core of the controversy over users and data. Frank's website expanded over time to offer free content on financial literacy and education after introducing its FAFSA service. This content increasingly attracted users to visit the website to use these resources, even if they did not then fill out the Easy FAFSA application, Javice's attorneys said. However, JPMorgan's attorneys argued that Javice produced a spreadsheet with a column labeled FAFSA in process that showed that more than 4.25 million students had created accounts with Frank and that they had provided specific personal information to back that claim. It's all for the video. Like and share the video, and if you're new to the channel, subscribe to it. Keep watching the videos on our channel.